Hello children, this is the first topic of this video, which is torque on a current carrying coil kept in magnetic field. Torque on a current carrying coil kept in magnetic field. So we'll draw the coil. Okay, so this is a rectangular coil. Let us keep it in magnetic field. So we are keeping it between pole pieces, north, south. So let us show magnetic field at each and every arm. So this is magnetic field. Try to draw at the midpoint of each arm. This is magnetic field. And this is magnetic field. Draw at midpoint. This is not drawn at midpoint, so I will erase it. And I'll be drawing at the midpoint. This is B. And similarly for this. This is how it should be drawn. Then you make the current flow. Let us show current by this color. So this is current. Okay. So we'll have to tell the angle between these two arrows. Yani ki current and magnetic field. So this is current. Okay, this is my arm 1. This arm is arm 1. This arm is arm 2. This is 3. And this is arm 4. All the arms have been labeled. Okay, so what is my theta 1? This angle is theta 1 is theta between I and B. Similarly, here current is like this and magnetic field is like this. So what is theta 4? 90. And theta 3 is also seen 90. And what about this theta? Theta 2. So this is theta. Yani ki this part is theta. So remaining will be 180 minus theta. Okay, if it is not clear, you can change the color and see. So this is theta. So this will be theta. Right. So remaining supplementary angle will be 180 minus theta. That is theta 2. Okay, so these are the angles. Theta 2, theta 3, theta 4 and theta 1. I am ready with all the angles. Now, because I know that whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in magnetic field, it experiences a force given by this formula, right? This topic is there in the previous video. You can see it and revise it. In vector form, we write like this. So here, all the arms are current carrying wires and they are kept in magnetic field. So each arm will feel a force given by this. So let us use either right hand thumb rule. That is, if curls of right hand are moving from L to B, or you can say current to magnetic field, then it will give you, thumb will give you the direction of force, or you can use Fleming's left hand rule. Again, try to listen. Each arm of the rectangular coil will experience a force because each arm is a current carrying conductor according to this formula. Direction will be given by either right hand thumb rule. If you are moving the curls from I to B means from the length. Current will flow along the length only, so that is okay. Then thumb will give you the direction of force, or you can use Fleming's left hand rule, right? So we have used and we found the direction of forces like this. So this is force 3. For the time being, you all can learn it. With practice, you will understand how these arrows have come. Or simply you can make a metallic frame and try it. Okay. So this is F3, this is F4, force on fourth arm, this is my fourth arm, this is my first arm, this is my second arm. So these forces you'll have to practice properly. This is F2, this is F1. So all 4 forces on all 4 arms should be shown clearly. For example, let us try to find out what is the direction of F3. Okay? So see, current is like this. This is current. Okay, let us try to understand the direction of force once again for this arm. You can see current is like this. So this current is going towards the ground. Okay, just look at your floor. It is going vertically downwards. So you can hold your current finger, that is second finger like this of left hand, in towards the ground. Okay, and magnetic field, that is first finger is like this. So first finger like this, second finger towards the ground. Where is the thumb pointing? So a thumb must be pointing. If you are holding your fingers properly, then thumb must be pointing towards you. So this is how towards you is represented. Okay. So current is going vertically downward. That is the way we are holding the coil. Current is going vertically downward. This is magnetic field. So this is your second finger of left hand. This is your first finger of left hand. So thumb is towards you. And this is how we are showing towards you. Okay, for other arms also you can do practice and you can understand. So let us see. Just now we have understood how to show forces. This is now the proper derivation will begin. Okay, so let us see. Force on a conductor carrying current in magnetic field. So this we know, the basic formula is ILB sine theta. So there are 4 arms. So I am talking about one by one. This is PQ. This is force on arm PQ. So how much is the force? I is I. Length of the rectangular loop is L. So L. B is the magnetic field. And this is theta 3. This is my F3 actually. This is my third arm. So theta 3. Theta 3 I told earlier it is 90 degree. Otherwise also you can see current is going like this. This is magnetic field. So this is theta 3. Theta 3 is 90. Sin 90 is 1. Substitute here. So this is my force on arm PQ is ready as ILB. Okay, and it is shown as IF3. Ready. Let us see the next force. You can see I have drawn the I have kept the diagram again and again. Now force on second arm QR. QR. By name it is 1. Okay, this is first arm. So I now breadth, length of this conductor, length of this portion, or you can say breadth of rectangular coil is B. So IB. In place of length of conductor it is B. B is the length, or you can say B is the breadth of this portion. Magnetic field is same. Sin theta 1. Theta 1 is the angle between current. This is current and this is magnetic field. It is theta. So substitute here theta. Sin theta is theta. So IBB sin theta. So it is ready and it is shown by F1. Direction is F1. Okay, now coming to third arm, which is RS. So you can see here RS, by name it is fourth force. Okay, so theta 4 will come. So I, again length is L. So ILB sin, and here it is. You can see current is going like this. It means current is here. So angle between B and I is 90. So sin 90 is 1. So it is ILB, sin 90 is 1, and it is shown by F4. This force is F4. Now coming to fourth one, which is left. Fourth arm is left. And that arm is your PS. This PS is left. So let us write down. Force will be I, and now this length is B already, breadth B, sine of theta 2, and this is theta 2. So we don't know what is theta 2, so we will see. We have already seen in first diagram that because this is theta, so this angle will be 180 minus theta. This portion, this angle will be 180 minus theta. So that is what I have substituted here. Now sin 180 minus theta is sin theta. So it is IBB sin theta. And it is shown by F2. So this is my F2 force. This is my F1 force. Okay? And this is my F4. This is my F3. Now I have written all the forces once again. This is F3. This is F4. This is F1. This is F2. Sin 180 minus theta was also sin theta. So this is also sin theta. So now these forces are equal and opposite. F3 and F4, it was, this thumb was towards you, that is away from you. So they are equal and opposite, they'll cancel out. These are also equal and opposite. One is like that, F2 is like this, and F1 is like this. You can see here. Okay, this you will know by practice. So they are equal and opposite, so they will cancel out. So all the forces are getting cancelled. So net force is 0. On the rectangular loop kept in magnetic field is 0. But you can see two of the forces, this and this, they are acting along different lines of action. These two are acting along same line of action. F1 and F2 are acting along same line of action. So no problem with that. But F4 and F3 are acting along different lines of action. So they will form a couple of force. They will form a couple of forces and will produce torque. So torque is equal to either force into perpendicular distance. Now what is the force? F3 or F4? This force or this force? So you can see it is equal to ILB. Now perpendicular distance we have to find out. So you can see this is F3, this is F4. Slanted distance is breadth, है ना? So perpendicular distance between this line and this line is this, and this was theta. So it is B cos theta. Perpendicular distance is B cos theta. Okay, so you can see this is F3, this is F4, and distance between them is B, slanted distance. So what is the perpendicular distance? It is B cos theta. So now length into breadth, L into B is area. So this is that formula for torque which we are supposed to find out. Okay, now suppose n turns are there, we will be multiplying it with n. So it is n is the number of turns of the coil, IBA, NIBA cos of theta. So this is the formula of torque, right? But we'll have to keep in mind that theta is the, now this theta is the angle between coil and magnetic field. Coil and magnetic field. Rather you can say plane of the coil and magnetic field. So this is the formula of torque in terms of angle between coil and magnetic field. It's very important, right? Now suppose alpha is the angle between field and normal. We have talked about this type of angle in chapter electrostatics when we dealt with flux. Okay, so we already know the sum of angle between field and normal and angle between coil and field and normal wala angle and coil and field wala angle, sum is 90, that we know. So theta is 90 minus alpha. So in place of theta I am putting this 90 minus alpha. So cos 90 minus alpha will change into sin alpha. So this is also one formula of torque, very much used, very popular as well. So in terms of cos, if cos is coming, then this is the angle between coil and field, which is common sense. Okay, and if we are using the angle between field and normal, then it is alpha. If it is sine, then it is the angle between field and normal. If it is cos, then it is the angle between coil and field. Okay, now we know already it's I into A into N, that is number of turns into current flowing into area of the coil, will give you, area of cross section will give you magnetic moment. So this is M. So torque formula is, one more formula is MB sin theta. In cross product we can write it like this. So direction of the torque can be given by right hand thumb rule. Okay, so the coil will keep on rotating, will rotate due to the torque. Okay, that is okay. So this is second important topic, second major topic of this video and second major topic of your chapter as well, moving coil galvanometer. So what is this type of galvanometer that we'll use in lab? This is moving coil galvanometer. What is it? It is a device which is used to detect current in the circuit, whether current is flowing or not. So you can detect with galvanometer. What is the principle? So principle is the topic that we have just finished. So it is based upon the fact that whenever a current carrying coil is placed in magnetic field, it experiences a torque given by, you can write it, given by NIBA, NIBA sin alpha, where alpha is the angle between field and normal. So this torque depends upon current. This is the principle, that whenever a current carrying coil is placed in magnetic field, it experiences a torque, which in turn depends upon how much current is flowing. Right, this is the principle. Getting to the construction. So you can see many diagrams. Basically, simpler one you can draw for exam. So this is the coil. This is the rectangular coil. Okay, so first I have written there is a coil, a rectangular coil of n turns, of made up of copper, okay, wrapped on a light aluminium frame. Correct. This is first part of the construction. Second is there is phosphor bronze spring. So there is a spring which is made up of phosphor bronze. This material name you have to write. The motion of the coil is controlled by a pair of hairspring, a thin hairspring of phosphor bronze. The motion of the coil rectangular coil or circular coil is controlled by the spring. Okay, so the spring will bring it back. So it will provide restoring torque. You can draw this diagram also, though both are same. So this spring we are talking about. Coming to third, there is a pointer. So yeah, there is a pointer attached to it. So you can see this pointer they are talking about, this pointer. Okay, which will be giving you the reading. That measures the deflection on a suitable scale. So there is an aluminium pointer. Okay, the coil is placed symmetrically between cylindrical pole pieces, concave shaped also you can write. So magnets, pole pieces are concave shaped, that is important. Okay, so you can see here also the shape is visible though. Shape is like this. This type of magnets are there. You can see here also this type of shape is there. And further also many diagrams will come. There also you will be seeing concave shaped magnets are used. And then there is soft iron core. In between the coil, there is soft iron core. This is core, C for core. This. So this is core. So there is coil, rectangular coil of n turns. There is core, soft iron core. Magnet should be concave shaped. There is spring and there is a pointer. Coming to theory and working. So you will begin with this only as you will pass the current through the coil. The coil will experience a torque because it is placed in magnetic field. Hai na? There is a coil. When you will pass the current through it, because it is placed in magnetic field of concave shaped magnet, it will experience a torque due to which it will move. This torque is called deflecting torque and its formula is Niba sin alpha. Alpha is the angle between field and normal that we have just done. So due to this, the coil will deflect. Now, due to that mechanical properties of the spring you have used. So restoring torque will also act. Spring will try to bring it back to its original position. Then that is restoring torque will act. Like restoring force used to act in class 11th. So restoring torque is equal to K into theta. Theta is deflection. Like if you remember in case of spring based numerical, we use Kx. It is spring force. And negative sign to show that it is restoring in nature. This is displacement. Similarly, based upon that, rotational analog of force is torque. This is K spring constant. This is K torsional constant, torque constant. This is linear displacement. This is angular displacement. That is angle, theta. So torque restoring is equal to torsional constant into angle. K for torsional constant. What is the other name? Theta, tau by theta, that is torque per unit angle of twist. Angle per unit deflection. And theta is angle of deflection or twist. So one torque is restoring and one torque is deflecting. Restoring torque is K theta, deflecting torque is Niba sin alpha. Mind it, alpha is the angle between field and normal and theta is the angle of deflection by which? The angle of deflection, twist. Okay, so from here you find out I comes as this. K theta by NBA sin alpha will go down. Now you will say from here we can see that the current depends upon trigonometric factor sin alpha. So a linear scale for current cannot be designed because it is a trigonometric factor and its graph is like this. But you want to design a linear scale for current, that current is increased and angle is increased, deflection is increased. So linear scale cannot be designed for your device. So you have to remove it. Now in order to remove it, it should be 1. Sin alpha should be 1. In order to remove this trigonometric factor, sin alpha should be 1. So alpha should be 90. And now alpha is the angle between field and normal. Field and normal should be 90. So field is like this. Normal is like this. है ना? Sorry, field and normal should be 90. So यानी कि normal should be this way. If normal is this way, your coil should be like this. है ना? तो plane of the coil should be parallel to magnetic field. Anyways, alpha should be 90. That is the angle between field and normal should be 90. Now if you will subtract it from 90, this angle, you will get the angle between coil and field. So coil and field should be 0 degree. That means coil and field should be parallel. So we need such a magnetic field which is always parallel to the plane of the coil. So that sin 90 is 1. So then this factor is not there, this trigonometric factor. We need such a field which is always parallel to the coil. Such a field is called radial field. And that field is provided by concave shaped magnet. That is why we have used in this, for the first time we have heard this name, concave shaped magnet, because they provide radial field. And why do you require radial field? To overcome this trigonometric factor from current formula, so that linear scale for the current can be designed. So you can draw either this diagram or this diagram. Just show to the examiner these are radial field lines. So radial field is that field which is always parallel to coil. Parallel to coil means coil and field wala angle will be 0 and field and normal wala angle will be 90. So sin 90 will be 1. Okay. So for radial field sin 90 is 1 and sin alpha is 1. So sin wala term is gone. So I is directly proportional to deflection now. More the current, more is the deflection. So linear scale is designed directly proportional now it is. So up to this it is theory and working of moving coil galvanometer. After that we have certain terms like current sensitivity. These are important terms. So what is current sensitivity? Current sensitivity is angle of deflection. How much is the angle? 30 degree, 40 degree upon the current flowing. So angle of deflection per unit current flowing, this is the definition. Is the definition of current sensitivity. Notation is this. So it is theta by I. SI unit will be, angles unit will be radian, and it is ampere or division or ampere or degree per ampere. Now just now you have seen that theta is, I is open as. Again always remember that in moving coil galvanometer there is only two torque, restoring and deflecting. Restoring is k theta and it is Niba sin alpha. Sin alpha is 1. So what is I? I is k theta by NBA. Okay, I is k theta by NBA. I want to substitute here in the definition of current sensitivity. Substitute, NBA will go up, theta cancel. So this is current sensitivity. Now the next question is, what are the ways to increase current sensitivity? By increasing number of turns in the coil? Yes. By increasing magnetic field, so you can employ more heavy magnet, or you can use big core, soft iron core. You can increase the area of the coil, or you can decrease torsional constant. So the better way is to decrease torsional constant, because if you will increase number of turns or magnet, powerful magnet or area, your galvanometer will become bulky. So it's better to select such a material whose torsional constant is minimum to increase current sensitivity. So by reducing torsional constant, select such a material whose K is minimum. So that is why we use phosphor bronze. This question comes in board. It is used in MCG, moving coil galvanometer. Why? Because it has minimum value of restoring torque per unit twist. Restoring torque per unit twist, that is torsional constant, is minimum for this. Other than that, you can write these reasons, but this is main for us. Rest reasons are secondary. Then coming to voltage sensitivity. So how much angle you produce, how much your needle moves, how much angle does it cover for a given applied voltage, that is voltage sensitivity. Now voltage can be opened as IR, and theta by I is current sensitivity, right? Theta by I is current sensitivity. So this is the relation between voltage sensitivity and current sensitivity. And now we can substitute I as this, k theta by NBA. Substitute k theta by NBA. Theta cancel. So this is the formula of voltage sensitivity. SI unit will be degree by volt, या division per volt, या radian per volt. Angle can be measured in division also, 1 division, 2 division, like that. Angle can be reported in degree or radian. Now this is the last term which is related to galvanometer, moving coil galvanometer, figure of merit. This is reciprocal of current sensitivity. Though it is not defined like that, but it is reciprocal. Okay? So here it will be current per unit angle of twist. I have denoted angle of twist by theta in my derivation. Okay, now you can substitute I. So this is figure of merit. So I is your k theta by NBA, and this is theta. Theta will be cancelled. So it is k by NBA. Okay, so this is figure of merit. You can make the unit on your own. Ampere per degree, ampere per division or ampere per radian. It is reciprocal of current sensitivity. So at last I would say that go for a easy diagram for moving coil galvanometer. Two diagrams are required, one in which you can show the radial field, and the diagram in which you can show the coil and all, which is either of these. I will show you. This one is simpler one, you can go for it. So prepare the topics properly.